Hello Virgo, welcome to your weekly tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is for the week of December 25th through 31st. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. So this is a general reading. We're going to see what the biggest challenge is before you, what is the situation that you're in, what do you have going on, what brings you to the channel today, and just more importantly, what is the message that we can get through for you today. What is the energy for you? Okay, 7 of discs. Let's not worry yet. Okay, I know we had a pretty challenging reading last week, but let's hold off. Let's put this into some context. See, it's already looking better. It's already looking really good. We're doing our Dove and Serpent spread. We're going to do, well, there's that 9 of Cups again. We're going to do our confirmation card. I think today we're going to, you know what? Let's use the Hermetic Tarot deck for our confirmation card. Mystery card, bonus card, whatever you want to call it. These are all pre-shuffled, so we're going to just take a kind of random card here. Nothing is random. I don't believe in chance. We're going to put that card right there. We're not going to look at that until the very end, okay? So stick around to the end of the video, and hopefully that will tie everything together, give us the confirmation that we're looking for at the very end. Okay, so we started with this 7 of discs. I think that there's been this kind of concern over not making a lot of progress in the physical world. You know, maybe this has something to do with a business or some kind of physical efforts that you've been attempting. You know, maybe the work that you're doing it just hasn't really been paying off. It's not terrible, right? But it's just, you're just still kind of struggling to kind of push through to the next level, okay? But I think at the same time, oddly enough, you don't really care, okay? Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that your business is going to fail or you're going to lose all your money. No, I just think that you're still pushing to grow your business or your income. But that's not the primary concern for you. And every time I see the 7 of discs, I try to say that, and I still get comments that say, oh, so my business is just going to fail. No, that's not what I'm wishing upon anyone, okay? That's not what I'm feeling with this card at all. It looks like a kind of dismal card. It looks like there's this, you know, this plant, this bush that was trying to grow some sweet fruit, but it just didn't happen. They're just yucky. But that's not the case, all right? This is just, it's maybe a little bit of a period, a little bit of a downturn. I was going to say a dormancy, but not really a dormancy. Just a period of slower growth, okay? Still growth. Trust me, there's still growth here. But it is just slow at the moment. But I don't think you mind. I think you like to go a little slow with that kind of, you know, physical, tangible, maybe career, employment, financial kind of growth, okay? If this is your own business, your own efforts, the work that you're doing, you don't want to rush forward to success. You want to do things slowly, do things right, but moreover, you want to do things with meaning. You want to do things that feel right. You could probably rush forward and just kind of blaze through all these things and get some success, right? But that you're gonna lose heart. You're not going to have the interest in that. That doesn't mean anything to you. You want the deeper kind of water experience. You want to find the deeper meaning. So crossing this kind of slower growth this week is this 4 of Cups. And I think the 4 of Cups is interesting in that it's a doubling. It's a doubling of the 2 of Cups. Okay, so the 2 of Cups really is about the connection, the love between you and maybe you and another person, maybe you and this thing that you're doing. Right? So it's a doubling of that. It's a strengthening of what we have now. It's a consolidation of this power. So while the growth is slow, that's the time to strengthen the bonds, right? And it kind of goes with the theme of winter, right? We're just getting into the winter season, especially, well, only here in the northern hemisphere. But it's a time of less outward activity, more focus on the internal activity. Okay, so we're really stable. You're trying to double the strength of this connection that you have, the meaning that you have. Okay? And the Four of Cups, yes, it's, it's not always the most positive card, but it's not a negative card either, okay? It means right now that there's not a lot of outward activity. There's not a lot of, forward momentum. And coupled with this Seven of Discs, it is kind of there's a period of slower growth in the external world. Like this could just be the, nature in winter, right? Things are still there, but things have just gone a little bit dormant, a little bit slow. Things have taken on a different level of activity. But there's this inner activity. There is this consolidation of this love and bond and this search for meaning and the strengthening of that, okay, during this period of relative outer inactivity. What we see in the past is a Princess of Swords, okay? So, trying to open myself up to this card, I don't know that this is another person involved. I don't know if this is something to do with your interactions with someone specific. I think this is some communication issues in the past. Okay, I think with the Princess here, I think that your attempts to start a communication or to begin to express yourself in certain ways don't always really pan out. Okay, there's something that kind of sets you back to the beginning stages in terms of your communication. Now, I don't know if this is that Knight of Cups person that we saw in last week's reading. I'm pretty sure it was last week's reading we had this. We had this Knight of Cups, and we'll get to the Knight of Cups here in a few minutes. It's at the end of the Path of the Serpent, right? So we have a few minutes to go. But there might be this sense of every time you start this kind of opening up to this kind of new conversation, this new way of communication, this new sharing of some of this Four of Cups energy, some of this meaning, some of this deeper feeling and connection that you're trying to strengthen and develop. It could be that conversation, that exchange of information never gets past its infancy. It always kind of just has to go back to the start again. It reaches a certain point and then it gets cut off and has to start again another day. Okay, so this is kind of a reoccurring thing to me. I don't feel like this is something that is just in the past and you're moving on. I think this is part of the issue with you this week, right? It could be the reason why you're really watching this reading. I don't think it's about your physical life slowing down, your business or professional life slowing down. I don't think it's about the relative inactivity of the winter season or something. I don't think it's so much about the deeper connection that you have, because I feel like that's your focus. You already kind of know what's going on there, right? You're already adept at taking that Two of Cups, doubling it to a Four of Cups. Next we'll see, a Six of Cups, an Eight of Cups. So you really are strengthening and deepening that emotional connection, that spiritual connection that you have with your life, with your activity, with the work that you're doing, the activity that is in the relative slow period, So I think the issue really is this communication that starts to move forward, but as soon as it starts kind of learning to walk, it takes its first steps, down it goes, and it has to kind of redo it again. But, that's how kids learn to walk. You got to take a couple steps, fall down. With anything, really. You have to try, fail, a million times. And that is kind of where you're at, I think, is that you keep getting up and trying again, but you keep failing and having to take a breath, get up, and do it again, But it just seems like it keeps going that way, and it's not really making much progress, okay? What we see at let's see at the bottom of the path of the dove here, beneath it all, beneath the surface, is this kind of unconscious pursuit of happiness. I think you do just kind of want an easy, happy, pleasurable, joy-filled life. You want to enjoy things, right? I don't think you want the struggle of learning how to communicate with this person. I think unconsciously beneath the surface is just this desire to have a fulfilled, happy, joyful life. I don't think it's anything extravagant, right? I don't think it's a material superficiality. I don't think it's just a striving for money, money, money. I think this is a more of a gentle, fulfilling, satisfying, deeply meaningful life. Okay? And this is the Nine of Cups. Keyword happiness. Happiness not only on the physical plane, abundance on the physical plane, but abundance on the mental and emotional planes too. We have the three, and the three, right? On the different layers, different levels of being. So it's not just about the physical abundance, although you do want that, right? Not extravagance, but just abundance. You want to have what you need. You want to be able to enjoy what you find meaningful. You want to have the resources to pursue meaning. You want to have emotional and intellectual satisfaction as well. Okay, so this is an overall general pursuit of happiness, but not in that kind of gimme, gimme, gimme greedy way, right? This is more about the meaning, the emotional connection to your life. And that, I think, is your motivation. I think that's your unconscious motivation. And maybe relatively conscious too, right? It's beneath the surface. It could be unconscious, but it could just be a foundational energy for you. Something that you're not going to budge on that, right? It's foundational. What we see at the top of the path of the dove is interesting because last week I said that there was a Cancer person in your life that was central to all of this. Or maybe not central, but was the primary opposing force, kind of, right? And what do we see at the top of the path of the dove is the Chariot. The Chariot rules the sign of Cancer. So this is a really kind of strong focus on this Cancer person. I think the Cancer person in this situation, in this configuration of energy, is feeling a little bit protective of self, a little bit defensive perhaps. Because see, they're in all that armor. They're in the Chariot. They feel like they kind of have to grow a really thick skin or protect themselves, or just kind of, they're wearing their armor around the house. You know what I mean? And I think that's to protect this, whatever that kind of soft center is, that vulnerability, that, it could be that heart, it could be their insecurities, it could be their, their inner child, whatever you want to call it. They feel protective of themselves, of their true kind of inner, that vulnerable, that soft spot. Okay. So they're wearing their armor around the house. And I think this is kind of your focus. I think a lot of this communication effort is aimed at this Cancer person. Now, this isn't 100% a Cancer person for everyone out there. This is someone who is displaying currently those Cancerian qualities of being in their armor all the time. Okay, being protective and trying to grow a thicker skin, but being defensive, even though they may not want to be. They feel that they're in a defensive position all the time. Okay, and I think this is the mountain that you feel like you have to climb. Okay, and I think it's kind of an interesting dilemma, because the more you try to ascend this mountain or approach this Cancer person, the more defensive they feel. Right, so it's kind of just exacerbating this cycle a little bit. And we see some other Cancer cards here, okay? But this one in particular is about that defensiveness, right? That wearing that armor around the house. What we see in the future, the immediate future, another major arcana card. Now, this might not have anything to do with this Cancer person, okay? Because the Cancer person is kind of on this vertical axis. On the horizontal, the more linear, chronological, we could say, on the path of the dove, we have all of this water and earth energy, right? The deeper meaning with your activities, with your work during this kind of relative slowdown. We see in the immediate future a real burst of creativity. This devil energy, this Capricorn energy, is all about the fire that is just coming up out of this earth plane. So all of this physical work that you're doing, all of the activities, all of the work. And it kind of is, in a way, because, we're moving into the season of Capricorn now. So with the Capricorn energy, it's almost like during the winter, all of the outward activity is kind of slowing down. It's becoming a little dormant, but that fire is building up. It's like magma inside this like frozen earth. It's building up pressure, building up hotter, 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 until eventually it's going to just erupt and explode into this wild creativity, this wild activity, this whirlwind of this fire energy. And I think this is what's coming in the future for you. I don't know if this is going to be like later this week or maybe into the, the end of winter, the beginning of spring. Seems like a kind of logical time for it to happen. But there is in your near future, relatively near future, this explosion of activity and creativity and energy. And it could be that all of this meaning that you're establishing, this meaning that you're finding and building in this work that you're doing is going to pay off with just this crazy creativity and explosive fire energy, right? And this is that goat that is a rather solitary animal, likes to climb to the highest peaks despite the steepness of the incline, right? Despite the kind of danger and the treacherousness of the path. It just wants to climb up to the very top, and it doesn't matter if it has to go there alone or with all of its friends. Okay, this is that creative energy that is unstoppable, right? And very capable in the physical world to do this thing. Whatever this thing is, I don't know what kind of work you're involved in, but it seems to me like the more meaningful it is to you, the more of a deeper connection you have with it, the more creative you can be, the more successful you're going to be with it, So I think it's really important to use this time of relative dormancy to consolidate this fire energy, to consolidate that meaning, really establish and strengthen the connection that you have with this activity, with yourself, with, what this work means to you and what its purpose is and all of that stuff. Because this Capricorn energy is coming. And that's going to be that kind of whirlwind of success, whirlwind of just production and activity and success. And it's a lot of like that explosive kind of fire energy. That's going to have the physical results, right? It's going to be in the physical, tangible world. It could just be like wild and crazy success that just came out of nowhere, and now it's just this like chaos, right? But you can handle it because you've got that goat energy in the future. Moving over now to the path of the serpent. We see right now general energy, 8 of discs. This is going right along with that 7 of discs, that relative inactivity in the external world, right, in your work. Right now you're using that opportunity in a practical way. This kind of slowdown of things, you're using that to focus on the details, to make changes, to really, really look deeply at things and ponder their meaning, right? We got a lot of meaning here. Ponder their usefulness, ponder their meaning, figure things out in a slow, deliberate, cautious way. Okay, the 8 of discs is very interesting because it is like the kind of like taking this kind of dormant, this plant here that's not quite producing the fruit that we want. Could be because it's winter, right? Doing the things necessary, paying attention to it, figuring it out slowly, getting to know it, changing things around, getting rid of what's not useful, pruning it, right? Cutting it back a little bit, feeding it the right things, nourishing it, taking care of it, talking to it. Plants love the carbon dioxide. And what you're doing is transforming it or helping it along in its growth so that it can become this out in the sun, fully just blossoming, fruitful, just abundant plant. Okay, so I think that's your general energy right now. I think you've got quite the green thumb. And this could be literally plants that you're, taking care of. But I think this is in terms of this work that you're doing that is not producing the extraordinary fruits right now. And that's just because it's a slow period. It's a period of relative inactivity. But you're taking advantage of it. You're using this time wisely to prepare for this explosive energy. Getting everything in order, making the changes, making the cutbacks, pruning it, adjusting it, whatever. To get ready for that goat energy, that Capricorn, that explosion, that whirlwind of creativity. You're getting everything set up now. I think that's extraordinarily important. What we see in terms of your relationships, though, is this 8 of Cups. I think this is kind of right along with what we've been talking about with this potential Cancer person. I think that you're getting a little fed up with things. I think that with the Eight of Cups, some of your interest, some of your love, some of your passion, some of your meaning and connection in terms of that relationship is starting to drain from you a little bit. Okay? It could be that this communication issue, all of the kind of false starts that we have are in essence draining your cup a little bit of this enthusiasm, of this desire to continue, of this emotional connection and the meaning that you have with this person, that kind of bond, that watery quality between the two of you. So I think that it is something that it's slowly draining this relationship. Okay? And I think that's symbolized by this Eight of Cups. This is just the waning of the interest or the waning of the desire to continue with these false starts of communication, of connection, right? Because that's what the air of the swords are. It's how we communicate, how we connect soul to soul, mind to mind, psyche to psyche. Now the next card is in the position of your fears, worries, and concerns. What's causing you anxiety? Well, anxiety. Five of Discs. This is a lot of things. This is going back to these other pentacles that we saw, right? The 7 and the 8 of Pentacles. Now we've got the 5 of Pentacles. So I think a lot of things are causing you anxiety, right? And it's the kind of key word for this card is worry. It's in the position of your worry. So you're worried about worrying, right? Sounds kind of silly, but I think there's a lot of truth there. I think that a lot of your energy gets caught up in worrying about things or having anxiety over things. Maybe nothing in particular, maybe everything in particular. And I think it's also because of your very meticulous nature, your attention to detail. You're really trying to look into everything. And when there's this period of relative inactivity, you have more time to kind of examine everything. But is that leading to now many more things to worry about? Right? The more you look at things, the more you start to worry about them. So you're kind of you're doubling down on your anxiety and your worries. Okay? And I think this is worry about physical plane stuff, worry about money, worry about health, worry about, where you live, the job you have, worry about the work that you're doing. You're worrying about worrying. And then also worrying about this connection with this relationship, with this, the meaning. Is there still meaning? Is there more water? Is all the water draining from this Eight of Cups? So it's just a lot of anxiety. And I think this is the obstacle that needs to be overcome. Because this is, I think, preventing a lot more from taking place. I think that this is this causes a blockage with the rest of this energy. You know what I mean? Everything else seems like it's flowing just beautifully, and then bang, we kind of hit this kind of whirling vortex of anxiety. And I think that is putting a stop to some of the flow of this energy. And, the Five of Discs it's not a terrible thing, right? The Five of Discs is, in basic terms, just movement in the external world. In the physical, tangible world, there's some movement going on, right? Things are shaky. Things may not be predictable. Things may be a little unknown. There's some variables. Things are shifting, right? And I think things are going to shift more as you get to this devil energy, right? And all of this whirlwind of activity and success and production for whatever work you're doing, right? The activity level is going to really skyrocket. And that's going to cause more anxiety because things are going to be shifting. Things are not, we don't have that nice 4 of Discs stable. Things are just running harmoniously like clockwork. It takes very little maintenance. And it's been established, so it's comfortable now. It's safe, it's secure, it's stable. There's not a lot of movement there. It's just kind of functioning, right? Its own little castle, its own little town. But with the 5, there's a lot of other forces that are shaking things up. And that's just yet another kind of obstacle, the worry and the anxiety that is going to cause. So again, you're worried about worrying. And I think that is the obstacle, because on the other side of that, here is that Knight of Cups. And in the reading last week, we said that this is a person, probably a Cancer person, but somebody who's trying to give something to you, trying to offer you something. Maybe their heart, maybe their devotion, their love, their commitment, whatever. Trying to offer you something, and it just seems like they make this effort, but then they have to go right back and kind of hide behind their armor again. And then maybe they peek out and try to offer that to you again, and then they're back on their back foot in a defensive posture, wearing their armor around the house. But I think on the other side of this 5 of discs is where this is going to show up again, this Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups is, it's the fiery aspect of the suit of cups. So it's the passionate, the loving, the intentional, the committed, the creative, really enthusiastic, really devoted, really energetic expression of love, right? And I think that is kind of a natural flow, and that's kind of what we're looking for in this whole situation, especially when we look at some of these other cups that we have. The 8 of Cups, water's kind of draining out of this situation. It needs that really energetic influx of the water energy. We have the 4 of Cups, like we said, is your search for the deeper meaning in the work that you're doing. And this is also, because this card is central. So it connects not only chronologically, linearly on the horizontal axis, right? But it's also connecting this 9 of Cups and that Chariot card, because it's in the middle there too, right? And so this is about finding that meaning, finding that connection between your happiness and this possibly Cancer person. How do those two things connect? Your happiness, your pursuit of happiness and meaning, and this person. Well, it's connecting through this work and through this 4 of Cups, but what it really needs is that 5th cup in there. It needs that movement, that excitement. I think it needs this fiery energy with this Knight of Cups. Okay? But I think to get there, you've got to overcome this 5 of discs obstacle that we talked about. Okay? Now, I don't want to repeat myself too much. We're going to look at this mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. Let's see what this is all about. This might be some more cups energy, some water energy, like 6 of Cups. That would be pretty terrific, I think. Or some more major arcana. There's a lot of good choices here. This is the Hermetic Tarot deck. What do we have? We have the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so this is good. I think this is an interesting card because it'll show us that when we're on the right path, we'll know it, right? When we're making the right choices, all those little kind of micro decisions that we make of what to say, how to express ourselves, what actions to take, just those moment-to-moment decisions. We'll get confirmation from the world around us that we're on the right path. We'll get that synchronicity, okay? We'll feel it, we'll know it, because that's the Jupiter energy. That is that expansive, like really generous, loving, kind of protective but reassuring energy. I think that's coming from the external world. That is the validation, that is the comfort and the assurance that we're making the right micro decisions, like I said. And so this is putting our faith, our hope, and our trust in this energy, right? Just abandoning, kind of, maybe I don't say abandoning, but surrendering a little bit to this Jupiter energy, trusting in the process, trusting in the universe, trusting that when we're making the right micro decisions, we'll know it. Trusting in that, okay? And that's going to come as an inner certainty, as a synchronicity. And so I think this is a really interesting confirmation card, because this is kind of that energy that's going to point you in the right direction. It's going to let you know when you are pointed in the right direction. Let's phrase it that way. When you move in the right direction, you're going to get the confirmation. When you are kind of moving in the wrong direction, you're going to get confirmation of that too. It's not going to look the same, right? So you'll know. I think that's a really nice confirmation. We're going to take a look at this a little bit more in the extended version of the reading. You can become a member to the channel by clicking on the link down in the description box. I also do personal private readings. The information for that is in the description box. This was your weekly tarot reading for December 25th through 31st on Dove and Serpent Tarot. And I thank you so much